Hey guys, this is another URPA video, but this time it's geared towards the athletes and what URPA does for the athletes. We have a monsoon outside here in South Mississippi right now, so you're liable to hear a good bit of thunder. So if you hear that, don't call the cops. It's not gunshots. That's some pretty bad weather out there. All right. URPA Unified Ratings of Professional Arm Wrestling is going to rate you and rank you within the country that you live in and the world as a whole. For example, if you live in the United States, you may be ranked number 2 in the United States, but you'll be ranked you could be ranked at somewhere around 38th or wherever in the world. So it's two different ranking systems, like I said, country and world. The first thing that you need to do to be part of URPA is go to the website. It's armwrestling.com. Pretty easy to remember there. It's a really good website. Go on there, take a look around. You'll see all the athletes that are already part of URPA. You'll see where they are ranked. You'll pay $5 to become registered with URPA. You're going to have to do that if you plan on pulling at any URPA event. You're going to have to already do this so you'll be in the system. When you go in the website and you pay your $5 and you become ranked, you become registered, you're going to download a little bit of information about yourself as well as a picture. So go ahead and have your picture ready in your phone or your computer so you can download your picture. And this is what the promoter uses at the tournaments. When you come to the tournament, all the promoter has to do is enter your name, and all your information comes up, and it throws you into the bracket that you're supposed to pull in. And the bracket software is next level. It's something that we've never had before. It's probably the most exciting thing to me. How many times have you gone to a tournament and you've got the bracket person hollering in the microphone for 8 or 10 hours? You know, a couple hours into it, you already have a headache from listening to it, and they're losing their voice having to holler and scream for people. This person go to table 1, this person go to table 2, this person on deck, table 1, this person on deck, table 2. Hey, where's this person at? Where's this person at? You know, you get tired of hearing that, so there's no more of that. It cuts out all of that microphone chatter. It actually opens up to where we can run DJ through the whole tournament, and you never hear the bracket man's voice, because the bracket system is, like I said, you have your pictures in there, you have your bio, you have what country you're in, your height, your weight, and that thing. So when the tournament comes up, it'll have the first 2 competitors at the very top, and it shows who's pulling and what country they're from, and it shows what side of the table you go to. If you're on this side, you go to this side of the table. This side, you go to this side of the table. If you end up pulling this same guy again in the bracket, the system's automatically going to swap sides of the table for you. So it cuts down on all that confusion. And not only are the 2 people that are pulling up there, the next 2 people under it, the ones that are on deck, and then the ones under that, the ones under that, and so on. So it gives you a good idea of when you're going to pull. If you see that you're down there like 4th in line, you know that you have about 20 minutes before you can pull, before you have to pull. You can take that time to start getting warmed up then. You don't have to wait until the beginning, or you don't have to go ahead and warm up at the beginning of the tournament and be cold by the time you pull. You can save all that energy when you see your name come up on the bracket, and if you like doing it 20 minutes out or 5 minutes out, you can gauge it. You can know, first off, you'll know who you're pulling, you'll know what side of the table you're going to, and you'll know how long it's going to take pretty much before you have to pull. So it gives you opportunity to, if you need to, research that person. If you don't know the person that you're going to pull, you have time to research or ask somebody, or make a phone call, look up on Google, YouTube, and see what that person does. Gives you a little time there, and it also gives you the time to warm up. So that's my favorite thing about this URPA bracket system. It just cuts down on every bit of that. What we're going towards is just making the sport in whole a more professional sport. Well, a professional sport. We're not a professional sport right now. We'll never be a professional sport until we're a legitimate sport. Arm wrestling is not a legitimate sport in the world. It is in some areas, but not in mainstream. You got a couple of organizations like UAL used to do a lot, and they put on a good legitimate tournaments. They had some good sponsors. WAL puts on a good legitimate tournament. They have a lot of sponsors. And the reason I'm bringing all this up is because I keep saying sponsors. That's how you get sponsors as an athlete or as a promoter, is to be legitimate. You're not seeing Joe Blow promoter hosting backyard tournaments and having sponsors. You're not seeing Joe Blow athlete that wears blue jeans to the tournaments and doesn't take it serious, or just not very devoted to it, getting sponsors. It takes a legitimate athlete and a legitimate promoter. So URPA is setting standards for the promoters, so the promoters will start upping their game to have put on better shows for you. We have better referees. You're not going to get away with all the bull crap you've been getting away with before with these referees. We have guidelines for the athletes. If you pull an URPA event, there is a dress code. There's a dress code in any professional sport. If you don't want to pull pro, pull amateur. URPA has no amateur classification. The tournaments that these promoters will put on, they'll still have the amateur division, but then they'll have the pro division. And the pro division is a true pro division with standards. And like any professional sport, you have a dress code. And it's not something real crazy. It's basically no blue jeans. You have to wear sports pants. You can't wear ball caps at the table. So we're trying to move the sport towards a more professional outlook. Again, if you don't want a professional sport, this is not going to be a thing for you. You can pull the AM divisions of these tournaments, but I believe in a whole, this is just the best thing for the sport of arm wrestling. To get ranked, all you would need to do is show up to one tournament and place last, and then you get 1 point. Last place gets 1 point no matter what they place. If they get up there and pull and they don't place, they still get 1 point. If you place first, you get 10 points. Each tournament has a multiplier attached to it depending on the size of the tournament. If it's a real small tournament, it's going to have a multiplier of 1 or 2, and that multiplies your points. In other words, if the tournament you go to has a multiplier of 2, and you win first place, you got 10 points times 2, so you left with 20 points. It's already generated into the system with URPA. Your ranks change depending on the points that you have and other competitors, so your ranks may go up or down depending on where other athletes are pulling. So this is going to give you the enticement to go to larger tournaments and pull better competition, because you're looking for these higher multiplier tournaments. Like state championship tournaments, there'll be multipliers of 3 or 4. If it's a multiplier of 4, you win first place, you get 40 points. If you get last place, you get 4 points. All the qualifiers for IFA Worlds will be 5 multiplier, so 50 points for first place. So again, this helps up the game for the athletes looking for these higher quality tournaments, if that's important to you. Again, if it's not important to you, this might not be the thing for you, but I have to believe that it's important for a lot of the athletes. We've not had a real legitimate ranking system in the nation or the world before this. So this solves that problem. We've not been a real legitimate sport. We hadn't had the standards and guidelines to go by, so it solves that problem. If we're going to take the sport to a different level, something like this has got to happen. If the sport was going to go to a different level on its own, it would have already done that, and it hadn't. So this is the Mazarenko production saw a need for this to happen, because this is exactly what they do in Europe. They'll have $50,000 payouts, and how can they do that? They're not doing it on entry fees. They're doing it because they're putting on a professional production, and they have the sponsors backing them. So if we do the same thing in the States, and that's what they set this up for, so every other country in the world can follow their example. I hate to keep using them, but they have the most professional organization on the planet as far as arm wrestling goes. If not, they wouldn't be able to get the sponsors that they do, and they just do, and we're kind of following that example. There's another way to get points, and it's called Vendetta Matches. Vendetta Matches will be 6 full rounds, no matter the outcome of any individual match. It's 6 full rounds. So the winner can win all 6, or he can win 4 out of 6, or 5 out of 6. But it's all 6 rounds you got to pull. And that sets up to where a challenger can call out somebody higher ranked, and he can steal their points if he beats them. For example, if number 1 has 500 points, and number 7 has 100 points, and number 7 calls out number 1, and he beats number 1, then he will take his points. He will absorb the amount of points that number 1 has. Number 1 will not lose his points. He will still keep the 500 points, but number 7 will absorb those 500 points and plus 2. So now he's got 602 points, and he leapfrogs in front of number 1 and takes that spot. And these are only done in Vendetta matches. There's 2 classifications in the URPA as an athlete. There's a general classification and an elite classification. As of right now, all tournaments will be general classification tournaments. The only elite tournament in the world right now is the Zloty Tour. We're moving towards having elite tournaments in every country, and that's where we will have these Vendetta matches. So when this happens, we'll have a tournament on the level of a Zloty Tour, the caliber of Zloty Tour, something that hyped up and that caliber and that professional here in the United States. That's going to far pass up any national championship tournament that you've ever gone to. If you know anything about the Zloty Tour, imagine having something like that inside the United States. And we'll have these Vendetta matches there where you can steal a competitor's points. So if you have any more questions, send me a message on Facebook or Mississippi Arm Fighter, or you can send me an email, mshgeneral@yahoo.com. If you know a promoter out there that you like pulling for, talk to him, try to entice him to sign up with URPA. We have to get promoters signed up for URPA. You're not going to go to an URPA event unless it's an URPA certified promoter. So try to talk to your promoters and get them on board. They can give me a shout. I can get them hooked up with a starter package and line them up on all the details. Again, if you have any more questions, give me a shout. I appreciate you.